trying to do it on Zoom. That would be the cat's meow.
Oh, so it's just answering questions, it ain't actually like a live feed or nothing?
No, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, for the people that call in and.
So you can
log on.
relay the questions to us then?
Correct,
Beautiful.
yeah,
But nothing's like zooming in where they see us answering, they'll just hear us.
Yeah.
right.
Does the city not have
Only if
Microsoft?
they got an invitation.
Huh?
Does the city have Microsoft? Do you have all the Microsoft
Yes,
products?
yes.
Like Microsoft Teams is just as easy as Zoom.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Yeah, long story.
You see, I can't use
I love Microsoft.
with my Apple,
Uh,
because I have Safari, and I'd have to take Safari, I'd have to erase that,
That's
and
me.
install,
Apple.
and my wife told me, she said, you don't even want to think about that.
yeah.
So, hey, we can get started.
Well, we're waiting to see if they,
We're what?
But we have a quorum.
We have a quorum.
Take care of business.
Yeah, sure. I get to use the hammer. Good evening, sir. I want to welcome you to the April 15th meeting of the Taylor Planning and Zoning, or Planning Commission. But before we do that, it's customary to stand for the pledge. Mr. Stewart, will you lead us, please?
Gladly, Mr. Chairman. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you, Mr. Stewart. The purpose of this meeting is to evaluate the requests that are made by the petitioners and to either grant or deny said request. And for a request to be approved, it will require 3 of the 5 present. And with that, we need roll call, and I see Miss Susan has the sheet.
I do, sir. Mr. Stewart,
Here.
Mr. Simeon is absent, Ms. Croft is absent, Mr. Fisher,
Here.
Mr. Stiles,
Here.
Mr. Gallosi,
Here.
Mr. Zwed.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. And also with us is Ms. Laura Fell. She's the Zoning and Planning Administrator for the City of Taylor. And with that, I'll entertain a motion on the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Supported by
I'll support.
Gallosi. We have a motion by Mr. Fisher, supported by Mr. Gallosi, that the agenda be accepted as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion on the minutes of February 5th.
Mr. Chairman, on the minutes of February 5th, motion to approve the minutes as presented and dispense with the oral reading.
Supported by
Support.
Mr. Stiles. We have a motion by Mr. Stewart, supported by Mr. Stiles, that the minutes of February 5 be approved as received and that their oral reading be dispensed with. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Legislative action. Case number 20-03V, that's vacate. Request to vacate public alley located on the east side of Telegraph Road between West Point and Champaign on Crowley. Vacate retaining all utility easements, the 20-foot wide public alley adjacent to lots 36 through 74, inclusive of the Taylor Park sub of the Northwest Quarter Section 9, City of Taylor, T.3S, R.10E, Wayne County, Michigan. The alley is located on the east side of Telegraph Road between Telegraph and West Point and Champaign and Crowley. I do have one communique from a resident I'll read it into the minutes. Ms. Vardine Donofis wishes to object to the proposed vacation of the alley abutting her property. She owns lots 69 and 70. Ms. Fell, would you care to speak to that, please?
Yeah, this was phoned in by a resident that abuts a portion of the alley. She just phoned in to stated that her objection to vacating the alley was the fact that it hasn't been vacated all this time, and she doesn't think there's a need for it now.
Thank you, Ms. Fell. I'll start with Mr. Stiles.
Through the chair,
Yes.
I just wanted to state this, the city is initiating this vacation as a public benefit. It's for the purpose of elimination of an obsolete alley and to facilitate new future development along Telegraph Road. The north approximately 130 feet was previously vacated in 2002. The portion that abuts lots 20 to 25. The city is initiating this to vacate the remainder of the alley, which it doesn't make a whole lot of sense just to keep a portion of the alley open. The city will retain all utility easements, and they will remain in place. We do have a development proposed to utilize the portion of the property along Telegraph that will be a Dairy Queen restaurant, 2,612 square feet with outdoor seating and drive-through. We have had no objections from any other person other than the one resident.
Thank you, Ms. Fell. Mr. Stiles, do you have any comments?
I do not.
Mr. Fisher?
I could be a little off on my math, but it indicates in the letter that it's lots 36 through 74, but it says only 19 properties. That's 36 to 74 is a little bit more than 19 properties. Or did we mean to say 19 property owners?
19 property owners. The city owns a big portion of those properties, and a lot of them have been combined over the years.
Yeah.
So now they're just one parcel number, so they wouldn't be individual lots.
Okay. The second question being, obviously, if this Dairy Queen would have to follow all, or if it had to, it'd have to put up a wall or whatever.
Correct.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Mr. Stewart?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair to Laura, the potential Dairy Queen, would that take up that entire, how many of the
Excuse me.
vacated lots roughly?
Through the chair, they would utilize a portion of the 10 feet where they could. They would utilize it for portion probably of their parking lot or their green belt, depending on how the final design comes out. But nobody would ever be able to do a structure over that 10 feet.
Roughly how deep are these lots? The ones that abut to Telegraph?
Hold on. The ones that abut to, they're approximately 100 feet.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Mr. Galosi?
No, nothing.
Nothing? Well, and we don't have an audience, but, Ms. Riddle, do you have anything?
I do not.
Do not.
Do we know what lots the Dairy Queen is coming into or proposing to come into?
Nothing's been finalized yet. We're still in the preliminary meetings with them on their site plan design and their building.
So it would be a new building. It wouldn't be retrofitting an existing.
It would be a new building. It would be